Welcome back to the Teachable Heart. I'm your host, David Vitt. Truly honored that you're watching. It's interesting to look back and remember what we were taught about the giants of the faith. For instance, Father Abraham had many sons. He was the patriarch of the Jewish nation. But we were never taught that he was also a coward and a lion. We learned that David was brave, killing a giant with a single stone. But we weren't told he was an adulterer or a murderer. Likewise, we were taught that Job was ever so patient in the face of calamity. But you know what? The more I study what Scripture actually tells us about him, I've come to believe that Job was more like you and me than we were ever led to believe. And here's what I mean. In the 6th chapter of his book, Job said that due to the severity of his grief, quote, "My words have been rash," end quote. That's verse 2. In the 12th verse, Job asked this, and I quote, "Is my strength the strength of stones, or is my flesh bronze?" The obvious answer to both questions is no. Job was acknowledging that he was as weak as any man. Shortly thereafter, Job gave us an honest look inside his heart and mind when he said this in verse 14, and I quote, "For the despairing man there should be kindness from his friend, so that he does not forsake the fear of the Almighty," end quote. Don't miss the fact that Job was a despairing man. He needed the kindness of others. He wasn't up to their criticism. And perhaps most telling, he was on the brink of forsaking God. In fact, the wording of the original Hebrew suggests that Job had already forsaken God, and that friends should be kind even in those circumstances. Regardless, the point is that Job wasn't the patient super saint he's frequently painted to be, which is actually a very good thing, because a super saint who demonstrates no humanity during difficult times is unrelatable to us actual humans. We don't need Job to have been perfect as he dealt with the incredible losses God allowed in his life. What we need was for Job to be real, and he was. It was this imperfect, occasionally rash, weak and despairing man who sets a realistic example that we imperfect, occasionally rash, weak and despairing people can actually follow. And what example was it that Job set? That we can face life's worst without compromising our integrity or cursing God. Instead, we can worship Him come what may. My friends, thank God for the imperfect examples God's given us. Give us a lot of thought, and until next time, keep the heart teachable.